One brotherhood, one ship. Stay bearded, stay feeling. One brotherhood, one ship. Stay bearded, stay feeling. It's BV. It's BV. BV. It's BV.
Yeah.
It's BV. It's BV.
BV.
It's BV.
BV.
It's BV.
It's BV and Jellified, Jimmy Beam and Bly, reaching highest where we reach, yo, as high as to the stars. Beats in the villain Jeep, vibrating other cars. Whose world is this? Yo, we say the world is ours. So we grow beards, no fear, photos so clear. Take another shot, so to speak, yeah, more beer. BV worldwide, put a fist to the sky. Cheers, cheers, New Year's, dope rhyme, good vibes. My crew speaks power, Chi-Town bleeds power. Knowledge, wisdom, and truth in the final hour. Respect, loyalty, family, charity speaks power. Bearded Village brotherhood speaks honor. Forwards and onwards, stay villain to the end. I will never shave again because my beard is not a trend. I represent excellence, leadership, and never follow. I'm a BBC member, yo, Lieutenant of Chicago.
One brotherhood, one ship. Stay bearded, stay feeling. One brotherhood, one ship. Stay bearded, stay feeling. It's BV. It's BV. BV. It's BV. It's BV.
And then there we go. We mute the mic and then we forget to unmute the mic. Hello again and welcome to the Heart of a Villain, guys. It is Friday night. This is episode 34. Welcome to the Heart of a Villain, the podcast devoted to the bearded villains worldwide brotherhood and the lives they are changing all over the world. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I appreciate you for being here. It's a beautiful Friday here. I know in northern Indiana, I think most of the country is under those same circumstances. But man, if you like bearded men, bearded brothers, the bearded villains, anything having to do with beards, this is the place where you want to be to learn about some brothers doing some charity and some really good stuff. So thanks again for everybody for being here. First of all, I wanted to stop in and say, hey, thank you very much to everybody who reached out to me and said that they got something out of the last podcast, out of episode 33, where we took a little bit of a trail off the side, off the hidden path there, what we normally do here, and we just tried to take a path of, I wanted to lift everybody up, and it just felt like we needed it. We needed a break to just tell everybody, turn that reset switch on, and let everybody know that it's going to be okay. Let's reset and get our heads right and move on, because the COVID thing is starting to loosen up, pandemic-wise, and there's still tragedy out there in the world. There's still people losing their lives with it, people getting sick with it, but the restrictions are coming up, and we're hopefully going to be able to start getting out there in the world and changing lives again pretty soon. So that's why I wanted to take that chance to just kind of change things up a little bit and just remind everybody to stay positive and, do their thing. So we've got that coming up. We've got some stuff coming up in the near future, different events that are starting to come back on the books. So that's some good news. We'll be talking about that in a little bit as well. So thanks again to everybody who sent their kind words of appreciation for me kind of diverting off the normal path for that last broadcast. So for episode 33, if you want to go back and check it out. Real quick, I want to say hello and welcome to the people on the live stream here on YouTube. Aaron's in the house. How you doing, Jay? Sharissa, Brett. Puzzle, of course, is in the house. I know there's a few other people out there too. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in on a Friday night when you could be somewhere else and listen to this later, but we are family here, right? So I appreciate you guys for being here. Episode 34, man. Every week we go, it just seems like that number climbs up faster and faster, and I can't believe we've made it to 34 already. So 50 is going to be here before we know it, and that'll be a big accomplishment for us. I did some reading about podcast stuff a couple weeks ago, and found out that most startup podcasts, I found that most startup podcasts that just kind of start from fresh and don't have a celebrity endorser or a celebrity doing the podcast, most only last like 7 episodes. maybe 8. Most of them are well gone by 10. So the fact that we've lasted 34 and we're just chugging along as we can, I'm excited about that. So episode 34 today, we are going to be speaking with the captain of the Bearded Villains of Switzerland. And as you guys know, I love talking with our brothers around the world. It's so neat to hear not only just person to person, brother to brother, to hear what they're doing in their lives, hear the different, dialect, hear the different, just to hear somebody talk about life on the other side of the world, what the Bearded Villains are doing. And so I hope you guys enjoy that interview coming up as much as I did doing it earlier this week. Please don't forget that since you are here, you must love the BV Brotherhood charity. And so get over to the YouTube channel if you're not there now. Click like and subscribe on that thing so we can drum up our viewership for that. As the next several weeks come on, I'll be releasing several other little videos pertaining to what the Bearded Villains are doing around different places. I'll be doing a redo of, in the coming months, of a previous video I did. So you want to make sure that you get the notice when that stuff drops. So like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. And then also don't forget about this little duty here. The heartofavillain.simplecast.com. That's where the podcast is located for the audio form, or all major podcast platforms. There you can get all the information about the shop and scheduling, things like that. So I want to take a second as I read through my notes here. I want to take a second and acknowledge the rank ups that we had over the course of this past week. I won't be able to obviously say something about all of them, but we had a bunch that came through, especially in the last couple of days. So congratulations to all of our brothers who went up to villain, ranked up to villain. We had a bunch that ranked up to member and loyal as also. So congratulations to you guys out there who did that. It's always exciting to see brothers working their way through things. So very cool stuff. I want to take a second here and acknowledge two things. We've just learned, I think it's coming around the BV circles here in the last several hours, really, that one of our brothers out in Utah passed away. And we don't have details or anything like that. I know that it's stuff will come out, but we just want to send prayers and peace and love to Devin, a hopeful from the Bearded Villains of Utah, who passed away. And he leaves behind a wife and family and kids, and it's just an incredibly sad situation. So we definitely want to think about them, send our love, send our prayers to the Bearded Villains Utah and to Devin's family. Let them know we are thinking of them, and they are in our prayers in the coming days, weeks, months, and future, and that we will be here for them. A hopeful is a brother, and we, the Bearded Villains, I'm sure the Bearded Villains Utah will be stating the same thing, but we are here for that family. We are here for Devin's family in their time. So I needed to take a second out to acknowledge that and say, we are thinking of you, thinking of the family. I also wanted to take a second to acknowledge everything that was, and going on purple in the world of the Bearded Villains this week, as we learned that one of the most upright, vocal, solid dudes in all of BV, and when you hear the name Kraken, you hear that name, you're like, oh, I know who that is. I know what that sounds like. I know what that voice is. I know what that face is. So everybody's spouting out the purple today, and in honor of Kraken. And we are thinking of you, brother. For those of you who don't know, suffered from a stroke earlier this week. He went online today, I think it was today, and went live from what looked like the hospital. And it was really cool to see. I actually was able to leap in and see during that time when he was there, and to see the dozens and dozens of people jumping in so quickly to wish him well, send prayers, tell him that we love him, that we're thinking of him. That was really neat to see. and he's obviously still recovering. So, but he was thumbs up, and he had his contagious smile going through his live. So it was really great to see him, at least in good spirits. We know he has a long way to go, but we are definitely thinking of him. Now, to that end, I did want to mention that there is a shirt that is being sold. Now, well, first I want to acknowledge this. I know that the Bearded Villains of Miami, Swampside, the main BV page, and hopefully I'm not forgetting anybody else, but I probably am. Several of our chapters, those included that I just mentioned, have reached out and said that that all of the proceeds of their merch during a certain time through the weekend or on a certain day were going to go toward our brother and his family. So how awesome is that? But then we had, as I'm going to keep trying to find this here, we had a brother who orchestrated a shirt they're making. It's a beautiful purple shirt. I'm going to bring it up here on the live stream. You'll see it. It's a very cool. Crackin' Strong is the message on it. It's being sold right now, and I reached out to him today and found out he is making the shirts on an as needed basis. So as the orders come in, it's not a pre-sale. So as these orders come in, he is going to be making these shirts. A one-man operation, so give him some patience. But the proceeds from these T-shirts are going to go to our brother who is recovering from his stroke. So I'll give you the information here for that. If I can bring this up here. Okay, so what you need to look for is teambeardedamerica.com, at teambeardedamerica.com. And these shirts are going for, I believe it was like $19. It's great shirt, great purpose. So we definitely want to reach out. If you don't have a purple shirt, you absolutely need one of these. And even if you do, you still need to get one of these. I'm placing my order as soon as the podcast is over tonight. So you'll notice that the lights here in the studio are a little bit more colorful tonight. I went ahead and kind of purpled things down a little bit. It's slightly noticeable, and I've got a purple shirt on too to honor our brother. So I know that's a lot of photos that were purple were going around on Instagram today too. So very important for him to recognize. What I hope he gathers from all of this is that actions speak louder than words. And brother, your actions time after time have spoken in a very big way for this brotherhood. And as you continue to heal, we want you to remember that it's our turn now to speak for you. We will hear that voice again in good time. Just want you to get well and let us be your voice for now as you recover. So we love you and get well. All right. I think that's a lot of the housekeeping stuff, the stuff that was most important for me to bring up. We are thinking of Devin's family, and Kraken needs to get better. We need that face. Some of you guys are probably familiar with his little IG lives sometimes where he'll go live on Instagram and he's just driving down the road sharing bits and pieces of wisdom. And they're always, it's always good to see, man. It's always good to see. And he's always got something good for us. So we're here for you right now. And there's nothing more than that for sure. We are here for you. So get well soon. Orlando, and I've been told now on the comments, Orlando and Tampa as well. They are also doing proceeds on items. So Puzzle Man, of course, taking care of me again. Thank you. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. All right. So as I mentioned last week, guys, the website is coming along. It is not live right now. I'm trying to do some things behind the scenes so that it's actually a worthwhile website to visit for the podcast. And one of the things I'm having an issue with right now, trying to make it work, is, and that's honestly, why do I really even need a website for the podcast? Well, the true reason, honestly, was simply because I wanted to be able to have this interactive map. And I can't do that on the page that's created for the podcast where everybody goes online to get the podcast. So the only way that I could really create that and have it be something that's searchable that guys can find and different things was to have a website where on the website on the page you can find it there as a interactive map where you can see all the different chapters that have been on the podcast and which podcast it is and all that stuff. So I'm working out the details, trying to make that work. And when that works, when that part of it is up and running, I will be going live with the website. So keep your eyes out. It is theheartofavillain.com. I was able to secure that name. So that'll be out there hopefully in the coming week. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. All right, guys. So my interview guest this week, as I stated before, is Claude from the Bearded Villains of Switzerland. He's the captain there. On Instagram, he goes by Darth Drobeard, all one word, DarthDrobeard, Darth Drobeard on IG. He is the captain, as I said, of the Bearded Villains of Switzerland. And it's always so fun to see guys, hear guys from other places and how things are going over there. Things are lightening up over in Europe right now as far as the pandemic goes, and they have plans to get together soon. It's just really cool to see. Yeah, so I am going to play, if I can get this working for me here. I'm going to play this interview here now. This is the captain of the Bearded Villains of Switzerland. And what a beautiful country. I just got to say, I've already seen the pictures of that, but if you check out his Instagram, man, it's like his Instagram profile. Some of the pictures look like somebody's travel log. It's pretty funny to see. And here I am in Indiana. If I take pictures of my surroundings, it's just flat ground, cornfields, flat ground, and pavement. Not over there. So here is my interview with the Bearded Villains of Switzerland captain. My guest today is from the Bearded Villains of Switzerland. He is the captain. His name is Claude, but on Instagram, he goes by Darth Drobeard. Claude, how you doing today, buddy? Nice to meet you.
Hey, Brian. Nice to meet you. I'm good. It's end of the day here in Switzerland, so I've been working from home today, and yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Good.
For those of you who are unaware of where Switzerland is, it is 7 hours ahead of us here in the States on the Central Time Zone. So he is dipping into the evening hours, and it is morning time here. But man, I'm really happy that I was able to get a hold of you. It's just so everybody's aware, I just love being able to talk to guys from around the world. Bearded Villains is such an amazing thing, and our brotherhood is such a far-reaching, amazing group of guys. So I'm really excited to get you on here and borrow you for a few minutes and learn a little bit about you, your life over in Switzerland, and how the Bearded Villains of Switzerland are changing lives over there, man.
Sure, yeah, it's always good to meet new people. Well, life's pretty good here in Switzerland. We've been pretty active lately, and it's pretty cool. Switzerland is a really small country. It's only 6 million people living here, but we got 4 official languages. So I think it's a pretty uncommon thing for Bearded Villains because we do everything in English. We got a French part, a German part, an Italian part, and kind of Swiss-German part. But as no one is able to speak all the languages, we do everything in English, which is pretty cool. And it's also a good thing because all of us, we're 10 at the moment, been traveling all over the world for a while. So it also kept our English pretty good. We don't speak English much outside of Bearded Villains. I do a little bit at work, so it's good to have a group where I can speak English and meet people from all over the country.
Do you find that most of the people in your country speak many languages, or primarily just what is considered to be the national language? I know you have 3, I think, in Switzerland, right?
Yeah, 4.
4 actual.
One of them is a dialect. It's a special Swiss German. I can't speak it. But generally, like almost everyone can speak 2 up to 3 languages.
Wow,
which is pretty common in Switzerland. Well, I've been learning. I speak French. My main language is French, but
Okay.
I've been learning German for like 11 years at school. So, and I've been working for a brand for some brand in Zurich, so I can speak German. I can understand Swiss German, and we've been traveling quite a lot. So I think everyone speaks English. Almost everyone speaks English.
Wow, that's amazing. One of the funny things I'm finding out as time goes on is how valuable speaking other languages is. You know, and it's funny because here in the States we are very we're very spoiled, and because it's a language that we just kind of expect everybody to speak, and we don't. Those of us who don't travel outside the States very often, it's kind of weird when we almost feel like everybody should speak English just because we do. And it's such a egocentric way of looking at things. As I've gotten older, I've realized how sad it is that I've only become a good speaker of English. So in my adult years, I decided to look into it and now realize that I need to start branching out and trying to learn some other languages. So I'm starting with Spanish again, the language that I failed in junior high. That I didn't have the patience for. But I think it's so amazing to see other countries when you grow up in other countries, so many people are learning 2-3 languages as just a common practice. Shows how far ahead of us you guys are.
Well, it's also, I mean, when I was a kid, I was speaking only like French, and I decided to learn English when I was like 14, 15, because I noticed that if I don't speak English, I will be like if you speak English and it's your native language. I mean, you can go in many places in the world. You can go in the UK, Australia, New Zealand, a lot of places from the US. But if you speak only French, you can basically you can go to France. That's it. So that's also why I wanted to learn English, so I could go almost everywhere in the world.
Did you grow up in France or did you grow up in Switzerland and because it's one of the native languages you learned, that's what you grew up learning?
Yeah, I grew up in Switzerland, and
Okay.
my parents only speaks English. It's all the area. Maybe you have heard of Geneva.
Yes.
So Geneva is one of the main city of the French part of Switzerland,
Okay.
and then near there's a lake, and all around the lake, people speak French.
Wow. Very cool.
It's about a third of the population in Switzerland who speaks French.
Man, I just I just think it's so cool. It's very humbling to run into people that just speak multiple languages very, very well, and in some cases very fluently. And here I am, just some guy from Indiana that I can only speak English. It just makes me laugh and realize
Well, actually,
how
it's one of it's not a rule, but if that's one of the main point of Bearded Villain Switzerland is like everybody has to speak English, because and we got 2 Kiwis at the moment here, and they live here for maybe 20 years. I don't know exactly, and they live in the Swiss German part, so they can speak Swiss German, but they're Kiwis, so it was not a big deal to get them into a group because we all speak English.
Now, when you say Kiwi, explain that?
Yeah, Kiwi is the people who come from New Zealand.
Okay, gotcha.
We call them Kiwi.
Okay.
Well, they call them Kiwis, so I guess
Okay.
it's pretty common.
That's it's just one of those weird things. It just makes me remember. It just shows me how far I have to come as a person. Growth. It's all about it. So, if you can, Claude, tell me a little bit about how you found the Bearded Villains and your journey as to where you are right now as the Bearded Villains captain. I think everybody's journey is a little bit different, and it's always interesting to hear how people started out, especially in other countries.
Well, I used to run a bike shop like back in the days, like 5 years ago, and had a lot of people with beard, and the bike messenger thing was pretty big, and everyone around us had a beard. And once I wrote in a newspaper something about bearded villains Sweden, because they did an auction or something. And so I went through Bearded Villains website, and I thought it was great. And then I found out in Switzerland that there were already 4 guys trying to do a chapter.
Oh, cool.
And so I contacted them, and Yeah, they just bring me through all the process. Maybe you know Suti.
Yes.
He's a Swiss guy who lives in, well, he's half Swiss, half American, and he just moved to the US now. And he was here in Switzerland, and he was my scout
Oh, wow.
those days. And then Jerry was a captain, and well, from I think I got my patch in. Well, I got my patch in 2015, and then things moved quite a lot. Suti moved to the US, and yeah, 4 years later, I was a captain. I've been a co-captain for a few years because we wanted. The thing is, Switzerland is also particular because it's really small. I mean, you can be almost everywhere in the country within 4 hours by train,
Okay.
which means we meet every month.
Oh, that's great.
Every last Sunday of the month, we meet somewhere. So we wanted to have also a captain. We had a Jerry Sheen as a captain for 4 years, and I was a co-captain because we wanted to have someone from the French part of Switzerland as well.
Okay.
And then last year I became the captain, and yeah, it's fun. So yeah, we try to meet as much as possible and try to do auction and charity work pretty often.
Now, you said that that it's about 4 hours distance to get pretty much anywhere on train. Explain just a little bit for me, for those. I mean, I've never been to Switzerland, so the prospect are automobiles. Have people having cars and traveling by car across the country? The 4 hours, is that uncommon? Is it much more common to travel on train and things like that there?
We're pretty lucky with the train situation in Switzerland because we got, like I mentioned, Geneva before, and we got Zurich, which is the main city of Switzerland. It's the biggest city in Switzerland. So Geneva, Zurich is 3 hours by train, and then you go up to Basel, which is another city. So if you're around those trains, it's really easy to go everywhere. And yeah, we're really lucky with that. But well, I travel mainly by train or by motorbike, but some people just travel by car. I work in the tourism industry as well,
Okay.
so I'm used to take the train and move quite a lot. That's also another reason.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure because I know you guys are known for mountains.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't sure about that as far as because a lot of mountainous countries, I know it's much easier to get someplace on a train or something like that versus trying to navigate that same distance in a car can take you almost twice the time. So, but yeah, why not take the train if you can, if everything's set up for you that way, for sure. Now, how many guys, I know I looked online as far as how large Switzerland is. Just for everybody listening, I can't adapt it to you, but you can go online and see, how Switzerland lays out to the size of the country that you're in, the part of the states here in the U.S. that you're living in. For those of us in the Midwest, I checked it, and it's about if you were to lay it over the top of, say, Indiana, where I live, it covers almost approximately the upper half of the state. So with a little bit past the state lines into Ohio and Illinois, just to give you an idea size-wise. Which would equate for his 4 hours, like he's saying. But you're talking with that distance. How many guys do you have in your chapter now?
We're 10 at the moment.
Okay, and you spread it around and try and find time to go to each guy's area.
Yeah. Well, we used to have quite a lot of people in Zurich, so we used to be in Zurich pretty often, and now we we used to be 12, and when we were 12, and it was once a month, so we tried to do like every month someone organized something, like a barbecue or something. And now, well, we haven't seen each other for almost 4 months because of the quarantine, because everything was closed down in Europe. And so we haven't met for 4 months, I would say now.
What's the situation in Europe right now, as far, well, even specifically just in Switzerland, as far as the pandemic and the quarantine? And are they starting to open things back up for you guys, or are you still in quarantine mode and you can't be around each other?
No, they've been opening quite a lot of things. I think we started the quarantine around 15th of March. So they closed everything. and then 2 weeks ago they opened shops and other things, and it was forbidden to be more than 5 people at the time, and we should respect a 2 meter distance between people. And last weekend they went up to 30 people, and I think 5th of June we can go up to 300 people for events.
Oh, wow.
So restaurant opened 2 weeks ago as well, but they have to move the table to be a little bit like to give more space to people.
Right.
But I would say, well, as mentioned before, I work in the tourism industry as well, so I can see restaurant and hotel opening again, and it's getting better and better, and it's coming up to normal, I think.
Okay. Good. Good. So you guys don't have anything now holding you back from having those monthly meetings again if you wanted to. That's good.
I think we're gonna start again in June. Yeah, end of June we're gonna do a meeting.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. We got a charity work end of June.
Oh, great. Oh, yeah. Tell me about that. If you can.
I come from the mountain. Like I used to be a snowboard instructor and work in ski resorts when I was younger.
Okay.
And it's like big thing they organize almost every year at the end of the winter. Some volunteers go up and in the ski melted. So ski resort near my parents' place with some of the guys, and we're gonna clean. We're gonna just go up there, and we're joining an organization who does that, and we're gonna clean the mountain a little bit.
Very cool. It's I love hearing about, and I say this every podcast episode. I love hearing about the stories from different chapters around the world, what they're doing, different ways that they're finding in their own areas to help out with some charity work and affect some change in their area. And it's always unique to hear, especially in different countries where you have things that we don't have. In Indiana, we don't have, well, I guess technically we have some fake hills that have fake snow during parts of the year, and they create the snow, but you have real ski areas. So I don't know, we have those here in the States too, but it's neat. I've never heard anybody doing something like that in the past from other chapters. So that's a different way of taking it. Now, as far as the charity stuff goes, I know you guys have still, because I saw this posted on your Instagram, you guys have found a way as a chapter to still help out during the pandemic. It seems like because you had some post back on, what was it, May 2nd with helping. Do you remember which post I'm talking about?
Yeah. About the clothes and clothing.
Yeah.
Thing.
What all was that about?
Well, during winter and sometimes we got quite a lot of people from other countries. How do you say refugees? Mm-hmm. Refugees. I wasn't sure about the word. Arriving here. So we've done that. We try to do it every year. We collect some clothing, and we go to special place where refugees arrive, and we give them those clothing. We try to do that normally in October because winter is pretty rough in Switzerland, especially in the mountain. Mm-hmm. So some people come from countries where it's pretty warm. So I think they go from 30 degrees Celsius degrees to 0, basically. So we try to give them some clothing, and this year I got 2 little kids, and we've been through markets, and we had quite a lot of toys and other thing like the kids bottle to drink the milk. I don't know the name of that in English. Uh-huh. So we also collect some of them because there's quite a lot, especially now with the pandemic. We had quite a lot of kids arriving here, so well, everything who could be useful for them, we went there and we gave them to those people.
Well, congratulations to you guys for that, because it's been very difficult, I know, for a lot of chapters to feel like we could do something to help out in our areas, just because down and the different avenues that we normally would take to help out, they're just, they've been locked down. So it's really good to hear that you've been able to find a way, despite all of that, to even do something simple as gather a donation together and still help out and change some lives. So congratulations to you guys for that. That's great.
Thanks.
Now, back in January, you posted you guys were associated with an auction as well, right?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, it's an association called Rêve Suisse. So it's a Switzerland Dream. It's well, it's a pretty funny story because I was once in a concert and I met the woman which is with us on the post because she knew the girlfriend of Mirko, one of the Swiss bearded villains, and we spoke together. And she worked for an association who help thick kids to get a dream. So she's been bringing kids to football matches to meet football stars or singers or actors or even like going for an helicopter tour, a lot of things. So she's organizing this and collecting money, or it's not about the money. Mainly it's about the networks.
yeah.
So if you got like a kids who got a cancer and want to do a helicopter tour, she knows someone who knows someone who's an helicopter driver, and there you go. And so it's Michel Bernasconi, beernasconi.ch on Instagram, who's been organizing the whole thing. Congratulations to him because he did a big work. And he's been collecting clothing from bearded villains all around the world
Oh, great.
and selling them through line. And he's been able to gain 1,000 Swiss francs. I think it's roughly $1,000. I think it should be almost equal.
Okay.
And we've been able to, with him, with beernasconi.ch, we've been able to give them $1,000, which was really good.
That's great. That's awesome. I mean, kids are one of those, you know, you got to help the kids. And any chance I know we get to help out here in the States, I know we're big on veterans organizations, especially kids and the homeless. And but yeah, that's amazing. That's such a cool organization. It's kind of like a Make-A-Wish Foundation or something like that here. I think what we're familiar with here in the States, as far as, I don't know if they have something like that there, but that sounds very similar, where they hook up, you know, the dreams of the sick kids that have some sort of a disease or disability or something like that, where they want to, you know, help make their dreams come true by getting them involved in, you know, some celebrity aspect or some event or different thing like that. So that's amazing. Very cool stuff. So is that something that you guys, was that a one-time thing, or is that something you guys are going to be able to do in the future as a regular thing?
It was the plan to work quite a lot with Rêve Suisse because we think it's a cool thing and we want to help kids. And then we didn't really have another opportunity because of the quarantine, but we're still in contact, and we're helping them also from time to time for something. I mean, I'm a social and digital media manager, so I helped her quite a lot as well with some social network thing or a graphic design or stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there is no like big auction we've done recently. But as soon as we can, we're gonna do it. Especially they organize party as well or some other thing with the kids. So if we're around and we can help, we're sure gonna do it.
Yeah, that's great. Great. I love hearing that. Okay, so before I let you go, you guys, one of the things I love to do is kind of ask captains, especially the leaders of these chapters from around the countries, around the world, for some advice, if you have any wise words that maybe were given to you or something like that is during your bearded villain journey. And I'm just curious, if you were to impart some wisdom or some wise words possibly to any of our bearded villains around the world, what could you say to them?
Well, that's a pretty big question. I don't know if I'm the good person to give advice, but what I feel is like family is a more important thing, and bearded villains became a family here in Switzerland, and that's the good thing. For many years, I remember I was like, yeah, I would like to help, but what can I do? And I didn't know what to do. And when I get into bearded villains, I found a way to help people, which was the first step. And I was like, cool, now I can help people. And then I say, which is even better, is there's people like me who are around and want to help as well, and who can join. And then you become friends, and then you become to be brothers. And we really feel like brothers here in Switzerland. I mean, we see each other every month, and we all have families. So some of the guys, I mean, we see them. Some of the guys they live 10 minutes from my place. So the kids, my kids and their kids play together, and even we live in the same city. So it means I can show up at 7 o'clock and I say, "Hey, I'm in front of your place," and we go out for beer or something. And I will say that's the main point. Is like by being friends and brother and a family and really united, we made something really strong, and it pushed us to be in the same mood to organize things and help other people and have fun. I would say that's the word is fun.
Yeah.
If you're around and you have the same mood and you do it for fun, you'll help people and you will have good time as well, and they will see that you have good time.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what it's about. Family and
Yeah.
fun, man. That's great. That's great. And that brotherhood aspect that's a worldwide thing. And so, well, man, I'm excited to see where Switzerland's going to take it from, you guys, what, you're 5, are you celebrated your 5th year yet or just the 4th year?
We just celebrated the 4th. Yeah.
Okay. I'm excited to see where it takes you, man. It's you guys are, you guys have a good group of guys in a pretty condensed area. So I am excited to hear when everything is finally 100% lifted by and things are back to normal, as close to normal as we can around the world. I'm excited to see where things take you guys. So I appreciate you coming on, Claude, and talking with me for a few minutes, and just keep killing it over there. And I don't know what else to say. I'm really excited that I got you on here. I'm excited for other people to hear your story and hear about the bearded villains of Switzerland. So
cool. Thank you for having me here. It was a pleasure. And well, if you want to come to Switzerland, you got a bed to sleep if you want. You're welcome here.
Sounds great. I can't wait. I just gotta get it. I actually have to buy a passport before I can update one. But yeah, then I have to get the wife's approval, which that may be a harder thing to do than getting the passport. So, all right, Claude, I appreciate you, man, and take care and be safe over there. Okay, guys, that was the Bearded Villains of Switzerland, Captain Claude. Really neat guy, fun to talk to, and I'm excited because they have, as he said, a very small country, and it's interesting as they grow that they're able to affect a lot of different areas over there because, I mean, it's such a diverse, that 4 languages and very diverse communities there within a small country. So good things coming out of Switzerland for sure, and excited to see how things go down the road. And if you haven't checked it out, by the way, check out their patch. Their patch is really cool looking. I know we're all patch hogs in different ways, shapes, and forms. We love the patches, but and we love to see different colored patches, different designs. But theirs is one of the only ones that's out there that actually shows a person that's not an actual full skull. But then they have there's a side to the face that you got to look at closely, and kind of neat stuff. So it's a different take on a bearded villain patch. So that's good to see for sure. Well, guys, we're all wearing purple today. Purple around. So it only makes sense. We're going to continue this on with some information about a certain company. If you are looking for an all-natural beard oil that will not only tame your beard and those coarse hairs, but make your beard soft and smell amazing, check out Pulpo Beard Oils. Veteran-owned and made for today's beards, Pulpo Beard products combine the best beard ingredients on the market with incredible customer service to ensure your happiness. Whether you need beard wash, beard oil, beard balm, or something fun in the line of clothing, Pulpo is the place to go. Feel fresh, feel savage, feel confident with Pulpo Beard Oils. Go to pulpobeardoils.com and use the code TheHeartOfAVillain for a discount on your order. Again, that's Pulpo, spelled Pulpo, beardoils.com. Use the code TheHeartOfAVillain for a discount on your order. Okay, well, it's that time, guys. We're going to be going into the calendar of events, And guess what? We're actually adding a few calendar of events items this time around. Isn't that cool? It's nice to see that happen again. It's been a little while since we've been able to add items to our calendar, thanks to COVID and the old pandemic. But we're adding a few things now. So pay attention here, because we've got now 4 events that I've been told about on the calendar. And in the coming weeks, I think that's going to increase. So on June 13th, we're still aiming for Knox Villains in Knoxville, Tennessee, hosted by the Smoky Mountain Bearded Villains. They're benefiting the Autism Society of East Tennessee. Now, the location was up in the air. Hit up the Bearded Villains of the Smoky Mountain Bearded Villains, because they now have another location and they have some plans. There's a hotel that they're aiming for. So hit up the Bearded Villains in the Smoky Mountain chapter, because they got all the details there. And I know as of just this week, they were still finalizing a few different ones, but they are confident, and they're dead set to get this thing going. So you bet. So Knox Villains, June 13th. Also, there's a Four Corners meet, September 11th through the 13th. September 11th through the 13th, the Four Corners meet in Cortez, Colorado. Now, this event is going to be a meet of brothers, and that is all. Just brothers, just some brother time. The Four Corners meeting, Cortez, Colorado. No families, no kids, just some brothers hanging out with some brother time. September 11th through the 13th for the Four Corners meet. Mark your calendars for October 3rd. October 3rd is the Battle of the Beards, benefiting the Gresham House, hosted by the Bearded Villains of Southern Indiana. It's at the American Legion Post number 44 at 711 State Street in Newburgh, Indiana. That's Battle of the Beards 3, October 3rd, benefiting the Gresham House. And then finally, right now, we have the October 16th and 17th. Now, this is something to pay attention to, just kind of a mark your calendar if you're interested in the area and going, if you're going to be in the area or you want to trek down there. Details are forthcoming, but the plan is to have the 4th Florida Summit in Pensacola Beach, Florida, October 16th and 17th. The details are still being ironed out based on opening strategies and different stuff with the pandemic, but the plan is, mark your calendars if you want to go down Pensacola Beach, and who wouldn't want to go down there, especially if you live up here. October 16th and 17th, the 4th, that's a tongue twister. October 16th and 17th for the 4th Florida Summit. And that's what I've got on the calendar right now, guys. So if you've got anything else that I can add, please let me know. I would love to add more calendar of events items in there for sure. But that's what I've got so far. All right, guys, remember that, as I always say regarding shirts, patches, and pins, you can hit over to the heartofavillain.simplecast.com, look for shirts, patches, and pins for items of different things you want to shop for to help out the podcast. I got some new stickers in this week, some larger ones. We got some stuff coming down the road here. But right now, honestly, I would rather you spend your money in the coming weeks, in the coming days. I would rather you spend your money on shirts and different items that can help out our brother, Kraken. So that is something I would rather you spend the money on right now rather than anything for this podcast, just to keep it out there if you're interested down the road. But right now, spend some money at one of those chapters that are giving donations to our brother who needs it. So again, and I was told that two additions there, like I said, Orlando, everything through the weekend, the Bearded Villains of Orlando, everything that's on their site, they're going to give proceeds to Kraken. And then also I found, I'll just include this. I was just going through some stuff here. The Tampa Bay Bearded Villains, as we mentioned, they're actually doing a pre-sale for a t-shirt right now. Go to the Tampa Bay Bearded Villains site for information, their IG for information on that. They have also created a really cool shirt. It has the Tampa Bay Bearded Villains logo on the back of it. It says, "A Villain's Life for Me," and it's a purple shirt. So very, very cool stuff for that. $25 for that shirt, and it includes shipping. So, and then the proceeds for that as well are going to Kraken. So we got a lot of stuff going on to help out our brother. Find one of those places. Like I said, I'd rather you not spend money with me right now for the podcast shirts, patches, pins. I'd rather you spend it to help him out. So find a way to do that, and definitely hit that up. All right, guys, I do appreciate you checking in. Thanks so much for my interview with Claude. I really appreciated that, being able to talk to him and find out what Switzerland is up to. And with that, I will say that will wrap up episode 34 of The Heart of a Villain. Remember, no, I'm not going to say you can buy shirts back. Just go out and help support our brother Kraken. Find a way. Get a shirt. Get something that's going to help him out. Don't forget, the heart of a villain never stops beating. Finally, guys, remember, as always, it's okay not to be okay. If you are hurting, find a brother to talk to. Remember, it's okay not to be okay. So for now, everybody, have a great weekend. Enjoy the week ahead. Take care and stay safe.
From my chapter to yours, we're all one, no borders. Don't get it twisted like contortionists in close quarters. My crew has more heads than peeps cleaning up on borders. When Blah, Jelly, and I, we come together, transformers. So when we meet up, handshakes, brews, and salutes. Every brother is different, fingerprints and attributes. One thing in common with the beard.